guys, and welcome back to your weekly comic book reviews. These reviews are for 1/9/2019, and I have something special to show you. I'm going to show you real quick right after this first review. I'm going to review 4 books, and we'll get right into it. I just want to say Happy New Year, guys, and thanks for joining me over at Economics and Comics. So the first book I'm going to review is Hex Wives number 3. Now, there's something special in this book, and I spec'd on it a couple weeks ago. This is very interesting. This is a DC Vertigo book, okay? And the spec is not about the book, but basically we've picked up with the wife finding an old lady tied up in her basement or something. She's like the head witch, okay? And her husband has been holding her. You kind of find out everything in this book. He tries to convince her that she's not there, and she just doesn't listen, so he conks her out. And then she wakes up the next morning, and he's like, you're having horrible nightmares, stuff like that. Basically, the old witch said to her, all you have to do is cut yourself and get some blood or something, and you'll remember things. But, so basically, what's very interesting is her husband convinced her nothing happened. Now, the wives, this is what's happening here. The wives are all witches, and all the husbands are watching the witches in their neighborhood. So they have a, like, little secret place, okay? Now, what's also interesting is there's, like, fires, like California fires or whatever. It's, like, surrounding this town, and this little housing area. And I have no idea why they haven't left that area yet. The wives are just content with living there. It's ridiculous. Anyway, they go along with their plan, the guys, and they say, oh, we're going to take you guys out for a little whatever picnic. And they go and they get stopped by the fire, right? You can't even get out of their own. I guess they're probably going to do it to, like, say you can't leave the area. And one of the guys catches on fire. And basically the wives are talking about how weird it is and all this stuff. And that's about it. It's starting to get interesting, though, because you're starting to find out what the town really is. They're holding all these witches, and the main guy and his wife, he has the main witch captive. But what's super interesting about this and key is, and I called it, is that on the very last page, now remember this is a Vertigo book, it's a black page, DC, with utmost respect from the distinguished competition Excelsior in memory of Stanley. So the DC is now doing it inside their book, saying, you know, giving their thanks and whatever. So that's very interesting to me that they're crossing platforms and doing it. And I expected it, but it's in Hex Wives number 3. So let's move on to your next comic book review. Okay, so I just got done reading The Empty Man number 3. This is starting to get good. This book, anything from Boom Studios, is a 5 out of 5 sniffer test. Oh, it smells so good. I don't know what it is. This is the actual variant cover. Now, if you guys remember, the Empty Man virus kind of makes people go crazy and they see stuff. And the FBI agent and someone else were talking to her daughter because the wife is infected. In last episode, the Whispering Oracles came over and said, we'd like to take your wife and help her. And the husband made him leave. Now, the Whispering Oracles are now on a mission. They want to go save her. But not only that, regarding a saving or not, they're torturing people. And they're killing people in the name of the Whispering whatever. So the FBI agents get to her house first, and they want to see her. And because the daughter called them, and they're telling the husband, look, you know, we can protect you, but these Whispering Oracles are bad news, and trust me, they're gonna hurt you. So whatever, they meet her, and what you find out is the lady that's infected, the wife, she can tell that this lady's infected, the FBI agent, but the FBI agent has pills that make it not bad. But anyone that's infected can tell who else is infected, even if they're not showing signs. Meanwhile, while they're talking to her, the oracles are out in the middle of the street. They're killing everyone, the whole neighborhood. So they're dressed up like dead presidents too. They're masked. And basically they have a shootout and all this stuff. But what's weird is, in one of the houses, they kill someone and it says, "This is a holy day." And this thing jumps out, is reaching out of this dead person's chest. So something's coming out of him. So eventually they're killing a whole bunch of, the FBI's girl and the other people are protecting her. And it's like a massacre. And they get outside of the house and like, "I think we can get away." And then that creature that came out of the body of one of the people that they killed is above. It's like a venomized scorpion. So I think it's starting to pick up and be pretty good. It's definitely a little bit weird looking and stuff, but I'm buying them just for the sniffer test. So we'll move on to the next book, all right? Hey guys, so I just got done reading Conan the Barbarian. Oh my god, I'm so happy this book is here. Let's give it a sniff. There's a big old thing, and I think in most comics, of the War of the Realms inside. It'll show you all the comics. There's a list of all the comics related inside, and then it has like a big old gatefold picture. Fortunately, this one was damaged, so I'm going to have to get another one. But just the ad was damaged. This story is great. And what is interesting about it is, I believe it's a 12-part series. And it says here, Conan the Barbarian, the life and death of Conan. So, it begins by saying, it does this little, when he's a baby, he's born on the battlefield, and then it has him as King Conan, which is sick. But, it says, "But this is not just a tale of how Conan lived." It says, "This is a story of how he died." And I mean, this is a great, he's chopping dudes' heads off. It starts him in the pits where he's fighting, and it's just later on. And people are betting on him, and this lady, like, bets on him, right? And she's like, this chick, she's the only one that bet on him. She looks like Red Sonja or something, with her red kit, whatever. She doesn't have red hair, though. And, of course, they go back and home to party. And the classic Conan, dude, she turns into a witch. And she's trying to get his, she gets him down to her lair. And she's been killing lots of warriors, but his blood's the best. She wants to bring back her Dark Lord. His name is the Red Rod of Doom or something like that. Or Red Doom or something. So she almost gets him and they have a fight. Of course, Conan messes her up real bad. And then it moves on later to... I gotta say, I love Conan stories. I miss the black and white, like, insane art, but it's just as good. The story is a good read. It's fun. It's adventurous. We're going back into the olden days, of a good story. I'm really excited about it. So it goes on later in the future, and he's like battling. He's the king and all this stuff. And when he's done with the war, these two little kids come and they're taking the bodies. And he's like, "Who told you to do that?" Da 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 da. And then he realizes he could smell the Crimson Witch that he killed is still alive. He cut her head off. And the kids like stab him in the back and they're trying to get his blood again. So it kind of ends with her over him with the kids. And they, they're going to take him back to that lair he was in and try to raise this god. So I enjoyed it a lot. I mean, honestly, I really, really enjoyed it because I used to love Conan. I mean, I love it all, but I used to love reading the big books. So I think this is a 12-part. And then it also shows in here, in the previews for the next ones, not of the next one, but there's previews of the next. There's going to be, let's see, really fast. There's going to be the Savage Sword of Conan. It's coming out. And I believe those are type of books that I was reading. It would be really cool if they were big like they used to be. And then also, There's another one called Age of Conan Bellet. Deadly sea monsters and the maiden voyage of the pirate who would be queen. So it must, relate. There it is. That art looks sick. She's got the symbiote no look. Overall, really good book. I really enjoyed it. Let's do a quick smell test. I can't smell anything. Boom Studios is where the goodies are for the smell. But I really enjoyed it. If you like Conan, pick it up. It's worth it. One more review. Okay, guys, my last book review is Infinity #1. Love the cover, Warlock and the Stones. This is after all the Infinity War stuff. And the Stones, let's see here. Warlock has the Stones. And basically, basically it starts off at the penitentiary, okay? And this guy, his name is Hector Bautista, is going to be sentenced to death the next day. They talk a little bit, and then they move on to the next scene. The next scene has Phyla-Vell and Moondragon fighting the Raptors, the Fraternity Order of Talinar or whatever. And they give away the fact that they're making a new Infinity Watch. And they smoke everybody. But then the one guy goes back up to the ship where Talinar is, and he says, they told us that there's they're making a new Infinity Watch. He's trying to get the stones or whatever. Then it flips to Warlock, and he sends the stones off in different directions to go to whoever, just randomly. Then I realized all the internals are Bagley. So Bagley's doing this entire run internally, at least for this one. I'm sure he's going to do the rest too. So it should be pretty awesome. So then it goes back to the penitentiary, and the Time Stone or whatever goes into the jail thing, and it hits on him, the guy that's being sentenced to death. And he realizes that he can stop time or whatever. So the day of the execution, he uses it to get away, and he's like, stop everyone from stopping him. And so he gets away, the guy. Then it flips back to Loki and all them. And what's her name throws Loki off the ship, and then the Wolverine Phoenix or whatever comes and says, "You're coming with me, bub." So that's the last page. So then it says continued in Wolverine Infinity Watch. Now, I'm not sure if this is the first book or not, but Loki mentions the War of the Realms is coming in this book. I can't remember if it's mentioned in another book, but you know how they're, saying the War of the Realms is coming or whatever. Let's see if I can give you an exact... Let me just see if I can give you an exact answer here of what books... Okay. All these are done. And okay, so this is actually the last book of the Infinity line of books, at least that I can see here. Right? See him? That's the last one, January. Then after it says Wolverine Infinity Watch and Guardians of the Galaxy #1. So those should be the next ones to get, and while they're going to move into War of the Realms. So I enjoyed it. It was pretty good. I think basically my overall pick of the week out of those books is Conan. I really liked it. I'm a Conan type of guy. And props to Boom Studios, or excuse me, props to DC, Vertigo, for giving love to Stan Lee at the end of the last page. That is what it's all about. And they did right by that. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you next time. See ya!